Most doctors miss out on 4 of the 7 most common causes of fatigue that I see on a regular basis.
What can you do? Medicine's not a science.
So if you're dealing with low energy, brain fog, or having trouble getting out of the bed in the morning, this is what you're missing. So over the years working with professionals suffering with fatigue and other health-related issues, I started to notice some common trends that were going overlooked. And this was despite these people trying all different types of diets, supplements, and biohacks.
There you go.
So what were they missing that kept them stuck? That's what we're going to cover right now. Number 1 is low testosterone. And this isn't even just men who have low testosterone. I see this in women as well, and sometimes as early as their mid to late 20s. And the most common signs and symptoms of people suffering from low T include things like low energy, weight gain, depression, brain fog, and even low libido. So if you feel like you may be suffering from low T, one thing that I always love to get is a total testosterone and a free testosterone level at the very minimum. Now, this won't tell you why your testosterone is low, but it will at least help you see if it is a problem that needs to be dealt with. Number 2 is gut issues, and it's most often constipation.
Who does number 2 work for?
That's right, buddy. You show that turd who's boss.
I found that there is often a huge connection between people suffering with gut issues and low energy. In fact, I've worked with numerous people who were struggling with constipation, and as soon as they started becoming more regular in their bowel movements, their energy increased dramatically. And this really shouldn't come as too much of a surprise because there's so much great research now on the gut-brain connection. Number 3 is burnout. Now, the real name for burnout is HPA axis dysfunction, which is hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis dysfunction.
What the hell did you just say?
And it's commonly referred to as adrenal fatigue. The problem here is that chronic stress is leading to elevated levels of cortisol over an extended period of time. And after a while, your body responds to this by downregulating the release of cortisol, and you start to feel all of those symptoms of adrenal fatigue, whether that's exhaustion, depression, anxiety, poor recovery from activity, and brain fog. Number 4 is food sensitivities. Now, food sensitivities are not the same thing as an allergic reaction, which is when your body creates a specific immunoglobulin response. It's called an IgE reaction. Instead, they're activating other parts of your immune system that can cause a whole host of different symptoms in different people, one of which is fatigue. Now, a lot of doctors say food sensitivities don't exist, but I see this commonly with a lot of my clients. And there are 2 ways to determine if you do have food sensitivities. Number 1 is to do an elimination diet, and the other is to do a very high quality food sensitivity test that looks at all 3 types of hypersensitivity reactions. In fact, I only know one test that does this, and I put the link to that test in the show notes. There's no affiliate link there. I'm not making any money off it. It's just a test that I've found is really reliable, and believe me, I've tried out a lot of these. Number 5 is nutritional deficiencies. There are some common ones here like B12 and iron deficiency that almost all doctors will order, but I found that this can come from other sources as well, including low B6 and just low protein intake in general. Number 6 is medications and alcohol. Alcohol should come as a no-brainer, but it's worth repeating that chronic alcohol use can damage your brain over time and lead to impaired brain function like poor memory and low energy. There are also a whole list of medications that can cause fatigue, from blood pressure medications to anti-anxiety medications, all the way to medications to lower your cholesterol. And if you do have a question about a specific medication, instead of listing all the medications that can cause fatigue, if you have a specific one that you have a question about, just put it into Google and see if there are any reports of fatigue being an issue with that specific medication. Now, fatigue may not be a common side effect with a lot of medications, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't occur with a variety of them in a small amount of people. Number 7 is sleep apnea. And sleep apnea is when you frequently stop breathing throughout the night and you have these short wake-up periods that happen over an extended period of time. And people who have really bad sleep apnea, they typically wake up exhausted. They just do not get any good restful sleep because they're constantly having these little micro awakenings all throughout the night. And the confusing thing for some people is that you do not need to be overweight. You don't have to have a really thick neck in order to have sleep apnea. But if you think this may be the case, if you think you may be struggling with sleep apnea, there is a good simple test that you can do at home. It's called the stop bang criteria, and I'll put that in the show notes so you can see what it entails. Hopefully that helped, and if you enjoyed this video, I think you're really going to like this one as well. Please like, subscribe, and share with someone that you think would benefit.